Pro tip, if you want to get better color, use a gray card. I almost went down the stairs. What's up guys, JayzTwoCents here, and it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, and I want to preface this by saying that NVIDIA has been one of my sponsors for quite a while. All the Founders Edition cards you guys have ever seen come through here were supplied by NVIDIA. I kind of feel like I have a pretty good working relationship with them, and I hope that can remain the case after this video. Because since I like NVIDIA, it's why I'm going to give them a little bit of tough love. This video is going to pretty much just be a talking head with me talking to the camera, very unscripted, very raw, so forgive me if it kind of goes all over the place, but it's been a while since I've done one of these and I'm a little out of practice. But I woke up this morning to some very interesting news. I woke up to an email from NVIDIA, press release basically saying, hey guys, we are launching the all-new Titan X Pascal, and I'm going, wait, what? The Titan X Pascal launched in like August of last year. That's strange. And I'm looking through the dates and stuff and I'm like, well, wait a minute. April Fool's was a week ago. That doesn't make sense. So as I'm reading this press release on the toilet this morning, which is usually how I start my day, I'm very confused. I see the date is April 6th and I started thinking maybe this was some sort of an accidental re-release of an old press release. But included in this was the mention of them now including Mac support for the Pascal-based GPUs. So I'm going, that's new, that's interesting. I don't understand this. Why are we talking about Titan X Pascal being all new? Then I noticed they're actually using a little P now next to the X, which we've kind of been doing ever since August of last year, because remember, you don't want to confuse yourself with the Titan X being confused with the Titan X, or especially the new Titan X being confused with the Titan X, and not to be confused with the older Titan X, but not the oldest Titan X, which is the middle Titan X. But now they're calling it Titan XP. But we've been calling Titan XP since August of last year because we were smart enough to not confuse ourselves by calling it just Titan X. But now NVIDIA is confusing the matter by even further by adopting the P, which we put on there ourselves. So now we have the Titan XP, not to be confused with the Titan XP, to be confused with the Titan XM. So of course the running joke right now is the next card is going to be Titan Vista and followed by Titan 7. But one of the interesting things about the press release, though, it didn't go into any of the changes on the Titan XP, which is what was very confusing. The new Titan XP, not the, okay, I already went through that. We don't need to go through that again. I'm looking at the specs and I'm going, they bumped up the CUDA cores. It's got 3,840 CUDA cores now versus the Titan X Big P. So we use Big P, NVIDIA is using little p, so I don't know. Anyway, it's got versus the 3,584 CUDA cores found in the Titans that are currently in my system. Looking through the specs also, it's got a little bit faster boost clock, 1582 versus 1531 found in the original, not the original, the older Titan XP. See, this is why the naming, first of all, is stupid. It's stupid. If they were out to confuse the buyers, then they've done a fantastic job at that. But the new Titan XP has, again, 12 gigabytes of memory, which you'd expect, but it's got 11.4 gigabit per second memory speed versus the 10 gigabit per second on the older Titan. So what they've done is they have essentially just bumped up the clock speed, the memory speed, and gave it 256 more CUDA cores. Now let me go ahead and get into the rant portion of this video. All along, the Titan cards have been kind of known as the unlocked big chip of whatever it is, whether it was Kepler or Maxwell or now Pascal. You would sit there and you would go, wow, the Titan is as fast as it can get for that generation. And the Titan XP was expected to be that very same thing with the new core and 3,584 CUDA cores, and we're like, that's a shit ton of cores. How much better can it possibly get? Now here's where as a consumer, I would be pretty upset. Let's say I bought a Titan X last year, saved my money for it, 1,200 bucks, finally got it, top of the line card, and then you fast forward a few months, the 1080 Ti comes out that has pretty much the exact same specs with the exception of 1 gigabyte less memory, but it's faster memory, comes out at $700, and it's actually edging out the card I bought for $1,200 in performance. Yeah, I'd already feel like I got kicked in the face by NVIDIA. But what if you just bought that card prior to launch and you're like, oh, well, it's only a little bit slower. But then to find out that only a month and a half after this guy launches, NVIDIA refreshes the Titan XP for the same price I paid, and it's faster in every single way than even this guy, which is already faster than the card I paid $1,200 for. So I paid $1,200 for a card that's slower than a card that's $700 and way slower than a card that costs the same price that came out just a little bit later. What are you doing over there? What is going on over there in that division? Okay, so here's another part of the story I want to go into. When I first requested the Titan X's for Skunkworks, I was essentially told it's not a GTX card, although it says GTX and GeForce GTX right on the damn thing. I was told it's not a GeForce gaming card, it's a deep learning card. and that it would be difficult for them to get them for me. Long story short, as you guys know how the story ended, I got 2 of them and they got put in Skunkworks and they are absolutely phenomenal. When you're told they're not a gaming card, but then you come out with a card that's faster than it and you market it towards gamers, that makes your original statement kind of a load of crock. And then to come out with a new Titan, and now let's talk about Terry Crews's PC here real quick because it's just about done. I'm finishing that one up and I see this and I'm going, you've got to be shitting me. You've got to be shitting me. I've already got a ton of people asking me if I'm going to go to the 1080 Ti on his build, and I went, no, that's not a big enough difference to really warrant taking all the blocks off and redoing it just for the sake of a couple of FPS, especially on water, and they're going to be overclocked. But now the new cards come out, and I write an email, and I'm basically like, hey, get me 2 of the new Titan XPs. This is for Terry Crews. This is hugely visible. Let's do it because he's an over-the-top guy. He's powerful. Let's put as much power in there as we possibly can. And I'm told, no, because they are not a gaming card, they're a deep learning card. Here we go again with this cycle of deep, it's like you already used that story and then you obsoleted that story by coming out with a gaming card based on the exact same GPU and made it faster than the card you told me wasn't for gaming, and now here we are again. So anyway guys, here's the moral of this story. And of course, I didn't even want to make this video, and like I said, I'm a fan of NVIDIA's products. I don't know what the hell the business model is right now, I'll be honest. I feel like they've shadowed something here. When this card launched at $700, 2 things happened that made people very happy with NVIDIA, which typically NVIDIA's kind of either loved or hated. There's not a lot of middle ground people with that. I saw people praising the price of this card at $700. How often do you see people praise a $700 card as being value? You know why there was value? Because it was faster than the $1,200 card, which made it fantastic. And of course, the 1080 slid down to the $500 price point. And by the way, you should have slid the 1070 down another $50 because then you just would have dominated the $300 to $700 GPU market. But I digress. What do I know about business? This card right here was praised because it allowed the 1080 to be more affordable, which is a phenomenal performing card in itself. This guy right here was beating the Titan XP, the middle Titan XP, for $500 less. But now what you've done is you've pissed off the people who paid $1,200 again. You pissed them off once with this, and you did it even further by offering this, which we now know was extremely held back in limited core, again. Anyway, I think there's a huge mistake not putting them in Terry Crews's build, but even if they wanted to send them now on this isn't about me. I'm not putting 1080 Ti's in Skunkworks, let alone the new Titans. I'm not that interested in that, honestly. This is where I spend my time now, not in front of Skunkworks. But I felt like Terry Crews deserved it. So there's a little bit of an explanation I'm gonna have to do in that video of why the cards that's in there is like the older Titan, but not the newer Titan. And then it was suggested that I go with 1080 Ti's, but like I said, tearing it all apart just to get a couple of extra FPS, not worth it to me. So if you are a consumer and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna apologize on NVIDIA's behalf that if you paid $1,200 for the original Titan, I'm sorry for the boot to the head you got twice. It really sucks. If you are looking to buy a new graphics card, I highly suggest you skip the Titan product line entirely, simply because it doesn't make sense. Even at 3,840 CUDA cores, I showed you guys what the custom cards are able to do to 4K gaming. And of course, the Founders Edition Titan XP, PXPP is going to be even faster. It's also going to only come with the Founders Edition cooler, which is hot, noisy, and just overall a poor design in terms of, not aesthetics, it looks fantastic, but in terms of noise to performance ratio, just go with a custom 1080 Ti and you'll be happy. That's it. The only reason I even made this video was because, of course, I woke up this morning to a million messages and tweets and emails of people, did you see the new card? Did you see the new card? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Guys, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna do anything except for sit in front of this camera and bitch, which is what I basically just did. Anyway, I hope we can still be friends after all of this, and what's gonna make this even more awkward is NVIDIA is flying out to be here for the introduction of the Terry Crews PC to him, so that's gonna make for some interesting dinner conversation, but it doesn't really matter. This channel is called JayzTwoCents because I have an opinion and I wanna share it, and that's my opinion on the matter. It's a fairly strong one. I think mistakes were made. All right, guys, that's it. Nothing else to say. 1080 Ti, not for deep learning. Oh, and one more thing. If you guys don't see me in any future NVIDIA launch events, watch this video and you'll probably know why I wasn't invited.